friends. I feel like I'm coming back to life, and I'm heading out for my favorite hour of the week. Therapy. Never thought that would come out of my vocabulary. I've tried several times, but I found somebody who fits. They helped my son stay alive, and now he's doing awesome. They helped my next son, and he's doing the work. And I thought, you know what? If they're cool with it and she's cool with it, I'm gonna give it a try. And day one, it was like, this is it. She's perfect for me. And shout out to you, Kristen, because you are saving our family. Literally. Sitting here in my backyard with a sandwich. Not much of a view. The sun is brilliant and it feels just amazing, like renewing. I need to be outside. I love the outside. So I'm gonna head out the door. I had a great session with my therapist, and I will chat to you about it later, because I went in with a specific question and how to, and I got great input, so I want to share that, but I am going to try and go to Zumba, and I wanted to share this because I've been a fan of group fitness since I was young. It was actually back in the late 80s when I realized that was back when they were wearing a thong leotard over leggings. That's when I found out I had a big bum, honestly, because that wasn't happening. The thong just vanished in my crack. But anyways, group fitness is a different beast. It's not necessarily going to get you, your hardcore abs. It's not going to build your quads. But it does get your heart pumping, and it gets you in a good, happy space. So whether it's Zumba, Orange Theory, CrossFit, all the different group fitnesses where you get to feed off of someone else's energy is exactly where you need to go when you're not feeling it for yourself. I can kick my own butt at the gym doing weights, but I have to want to, and I have wanted to in a long time. So I go in, I hit the Zumba, I have a great time, and then I wander over and I throw up a few weights. So same thing like with CrossFit. It's a community. People love being together. Unfortunately, I've got a few lingering issues with my physical self, and so my back, my knees I have to protect. So I never was tempted into CrossFit, but I've done Orange Theory. I've done them all. Lifetime, that's what I did. I cycle, spin, you name it. And I love it. I love group fitness. So if you're struggling to go to the gym or find a workout that you love, roller skate, whatever, you gotta just move and do something that makes you happy. And I encourage you to do this. So here I am, I'm going to Zumba. I'm not 100%, but I know I can just stand in the back. I can enjoy the music. I can enjoy the vibes, and I can chill with the ladies who, are a little bit older, and they're just there for the same exact reason. You don't have to be all the way down in your ankles and sweating like an animal. You can just really enjoy it. And it's the same with yoga. It's your practice. It's your time. You get to stretch, or you can just sit if you want. And that's what people miss about group fitness. It's not always about the calories burned or the weight lost or the, muscle added. There's so many more benefits to it. And so try to look at movement a little different. And just for the record, minky blankets and black sweatshirts do not mix. I'm going to spend a minute trying to get this thing wearable, but I don't have anything else that I can just throw on to go out the door, so I gotta do it. Wish me luck. Well, not only did I make it through Zumba, but I smiled and actually almost cried a little. There was one point where we were doing this thing and I just had my hand on my heart and I just thought, God, my body just keeps repairing and keeps showing up for us. And how often do we acknowledge that we are just lucky to be in a healthy body? And so that felt pretty great, and that's kind of what I needed. I needed that beautiful release, I guess. So yeah, freaking magic end to this day. So I'm just going to jump in from the future because I realized I didn't talk about my session with my therapist. So I went in there with a question. Specifically, I was asking, how do I manage grief? I realized as I was going through these exercises of having to let go of things, that for some reason, these things have been nagging me. There's been loss in my life. There's been changes that weren't necessarily of my doing, and I can pinpoint areas of regret where I would have made a different decision if I'd felt like it was consciously mine to make. And so as I'm trying to let go and move on, and these things are just kind of lingering there, it just kind of sparked a thought that I don't know how to grieve. I don't know that I ever did. It's always just been a like, suck it up, move on. Like everything had to be a move on. For example, my dad passed away. I was 21. I just had my second son. He was just a few weeks old, and my oldest had just turned 1. It was 4 weeks after his first birthday. It was on my brother's wedding day that my dad passed. There's a reason that we moved on and continued with the wedding. That's not the part that I grieved. When I realized as time went on that I grieved the loss of having my dad in my life. I realized how much my kids had missed out from not having him as their granddad. He was just a jovial guy. People saw him as this, social friend, but he had been through a lot of challenges physically and in his health. So he didn't really sweat the small stuff as much. And I just pictured him as a granddad, just loving my kids. And there's so many times when I've thought my dad would have been really proud of them. Or my dad would have loved Boyd and the way he takes care of me and treats me. But then, because Boyd's dad had also passed away about a year after I moved to the US, my kids didn't have that granddad figure. And so that was a grief. I also realized, having babies at 19 meant that my future plan, I had just graduated college. I was ready to go in my career and my life. I had it all planned and I was quite driven. That pivoted. That was a big old Y in the road that I went a different direction. And whilst I wouldn't change that direction, I don't regret following that direction. I realized I never grieved the loss of what the life was going to look like that I thought I had. And so that nags me in the back of my head. So I went to my therapist there's been lots of things, but I went with this idea of, hey, as I'm going through this loss idea, I don't know if I even know how to grieve. How do I grieve? There's my question. And what I found out was that I'm not going to do something that is just going to make me sit here and bawl and cry and now it's all going to go away and I'm done. Grief's gone. No, she said grief, if you put it in like a shape, like let's make it a fist. If you continually dwell on the loss, this is going to grow and it's going to fill up your space and it's going to be overwhelming. And what you want to do is you want to fill up your space around the grief so the grief gets smaller, if that makes sense. So the loss or the pain, I should say. So my dad being gone and me being sad about my kids losing out on that, it doesn't mean that I have to accept it, never think about it again and not feel that loss. It just means that loss needn't be overwhelming to my day-to-day life or to my kids' lives, and therefore I build up the space around it. So I honor my dad's passing in the sense of what kind of person was he? What would he want for me? And being as he was 46 when he passed away, he said to me, now I was like sensible with my money. I saved for a rainy day. I did all the sort of steps of what you're supposed to do. He goes, and here I am at 46 with this cancer and I haven't even been on an aeroplane. And he said, so I took that quite literally, that you really do only have a few days, you have today and that's it, and not to live too far in the future. And so I've learned some great qualities from my dad. I see traits of me that my dad had. And so I'm honoring the bigger space. So it's not that I've forgotten him, I don't think about him, or that it isn't a loss that he's not in my life. It's just that loss has gotten smaller in the big picture of good things I've gotten from what I did get from him. So I hope that makes a little bit of sense, because this idea of being able to be sad about a loss and then it just going away and you never remember it again, but then when it comes back you go, oh well, somewhere I failed, I didn't get rid of it. Actually, those little losses are always going to be in there, but we learn how to live with them around and to not let them be debilitating to us. We put them in their proper perspective and place. So that was great advice, and I just felt like I needed to add that in, since we're like trying to learn together here.